All right, it's all happening. Welcome, day 2 of the Client Acquisition System Workshop. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you all. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Trisha. Hello, Cindy. Hey, Meredith. Hey, Wayne. Hey, all of my lovely coaches. It's great to have y'all with us. Today is a very important session. We're going to be going through how you can use market research to attract and acquire clients. So market research is essentially twofold. You're going to be gathering important information about your coaching business, right? We want to validate the market. That's why we're doing market research. But also, there is a way you can kind of two for the price of one, validate that there's a market for the specialty of coaching that you're building, but at the same time acquire clients. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So today, as far as the agenda, here's what we've got on the list. You will learn one, the most powerful form of market research to help you gain clients. That's the first thing you're going to learn today. 2, you're going to learn specific questions to ask during an ideal client avatar survey. And I'm going to talk about what that is. That will help you turn that ideal client avatar into a client. I'm going to give you the actual specific questions. 3, I'm a script gal. You guys, for those of you who know me, my background over a decade in the corporate world, different Fortune 500s in copy, communications, messaging, writing, all that stuff. So we're going to be going through tons of scripts that you can use to turn an ideal client avatar into a client. Okay, some of you are like, I don't need a script. Some of you might think, oh, this is helpful to have a script. And then lastly, I'm going to be sharing with you the key on how you should end an ideal client avatar survey, how you should end it to result in a paying client. Okay, so that's what we're learning today. Let's jump in here. And then Tabitha, if you've got everything good to go in the Facebook group, we are going to be all set. Michael, yeah, I was so glad to connect with you today as well, Michael. I'm glad you found value in that. And, again, for those of you who haven't hopped on to a call of some sort with me yet, now's your opportunity. And Michael, feel free to share in the chat what you got out of our discussion together. And that's kind of the idea, right, of this workshop. I've been telling you guys, this is not, a recording that I'm throwing at you and saying, good luck, right? I'm here live so I can answer your questions. And I really try to customize this experience for you guys by connecting, if you want to, right, with me one-on-one outside of these calls so that I can give you additional support during the workshop. So welcome back, everybody. This is day 2 of the Client Acquisition System Workshop. We're going to talk about how to use market research to get clients. As you're joining tonight, drop into the chat. Let us know what was the most valuable part of day 1 for you. We'd love to hear that. For those of you just meeting me, my name is Betty Kemp, a business coach for coaches, 3 times member of the Forbes Coaches Council, IPEC graduate. Again, drop into the chat if we have any IPECians here with me tonight. And for those of you who are wondering, is that some form of an alien? No, this is just what I call people who get certified from IPEC, as I am one of those people as well. It's one of the coach certifications. What else can I tell you about me? I was ranked one of the top coaches in Denver and then again in Tampa by Influence Digest, and was recently listed as one of the top 10 business coaches to follow by Life Coach magazine. So a little bit about me. Most of all, I'm the proud founder of the Corporate Six-Figure Coach Academy, where we help corporate renegades ditch the 9-to-5 and repackage their genius into a 6-figure coaching business. So tonight, I want you to grab your workbook, and old school people who like to print it out, here it is for you. Wave it in the air. Yep, I know we've got Trisha's with me, right? So if you've got your workbook, make sure that you've got it on hand. If you print it out, good for you. If you like it on the screen with you, that's fine too. Just be at a place where you can take some notes, because the idea of the workbook is the supplemental resource. I'm going to be giving you the answers to fill into the workbook as we're going. Saliana, I know you're from IPEC. Jenny's from IPEC. Allie, yes, girl. Meredith, yeah, good to see you guys. All right, so tonight, grab that workbook, have it in hand, be ready to take notes. This is your, essentially, what I call your six-figure resource. This is where it all begins, okay? Now, again, if any of you need help accessing the workbook, just say workbook in the chat, and Tabitha will drop in the link to the workbook for you. Again, if you have not already connected either with me or your boot camp concierge, and that's Tabitha, right? Her and I are here to really customize this experience for you. Please be sure you do connect. Send a Facebook DM to Tabitha with any questions, if you need a replay, if you missed some of the answers to yesterday or today's session, or any kind of help you need with any of these topics, how to customize some of this stuff to your specific niche, etc. You can also post any questions you have in the Facebook group. That's our communication hub. And maybe Tabitha, could you throw into the chat for our Zoomers, the Facebook group? Make sure you do join the Facebook group because that's another place where I can either answer your questions in the Facebook group, or if I haven't answered your question directly, that means we're gathering it. Tabitha's gathering all the questions and bringing them to our Monday Q&A session. Now, at some point during tonight's session, I'm not sure when, some point tonight, I'm going to be announcing the winner of our first drawing for a gift card. To be eligible for our daily gift card drawings all week. And again, this is just, I'm trying to keep you guys motivated, keep you guys pumped. A little thank you to those of you who are showing up and doing the work. So to be eligible for these gift card giveaways that we're giving each night, you have to do two things. One, you got to show up live. You got to be here live. And two, after we are done with our live session, you have 24 hours to hop into the Facebook group. Tabitha will post a homework graphic. It'll ask you one question, and you just need to answer that question. So those are the two ways to get your names in the hat for the drawing. And then each session, I will announce the next gift card winner and send it out to you. I'm going to be teaching live. It's the same Zoom link. We're trying to keep it somewhat simple for you every night this week, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern for about an hour, give or take. I am running, so please do make sure you mark this down. 2 additional bonus sessions this upcoming week as well. So Monday, March 17th, write that down. That's going to be a big day. That's going to be our rapid fire hot seat coaching. That's going to be where literally I'm just hot seat coaching people on the call. We'll be doing all Q&A, anything that you've asked that you didn't get an answer to yet. So that'll be this upcoming Monday, March 17th. Even if you don't have a question, y'all know as coaches that some of our best learnings come from other people's questions. Then again, on Tuesday, March 18th, that will be officially our last day. Right? Tuesday, March 18th will be a big day. We'll be talking about the 5 mistakes people make that prevent them from hitting that first 6-figure mark. Okay, that'll be Tuesday, March 18th. All our sessions are being held at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you need to go back and revisit any of the training, the replays, the resources, be sure you do it before then. Okay, very important. All replays are being pulled down by Tuesday of March 18th at midnight. Okay, so do write that down. We're doing that on purpose because this is meant to be a boot camp, a workshop. We want to get you guys to implement, to do the thing, to not put it off, right? So these are only going to be all of the replays available until Tuesday of next week at midnight. Okay, all right, so let's jump in. And let's see, Meredith's already got sessions Monday and Tuesday on her calendar. Great. Michael says the takeaway from our one-on-one conversation today was twofold. Budgeting 4 to 6 hours time weekly only to work on the business. And the second value point was to ensure accountability is in play, that someone is holding me accountable to achieving that investment. And then there was a lot more. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Michael, because yeah, we did get into a lot of different things. And yeah, just to give you guys a little bit of relevance there, to thank you, Michael, for sharing that. Yeah, I think one of the things that I talk about with people, it can feel very overwhelming when you're building a business and you're still in a very demanding corporate job, right? I know some of you are parents, some of you still getting certified, all the things. And those are my clients, right? I've built my academy out based on that type of a person. So what I was sharing with Michael is when I'm working with somebody, for a year's time, what I ask of the coach on the other end is, can you put aside 4 to 6 hours per week, approximately, right? Some weeks you'll be on vacation, or some weeks you'll be sick, right? This is on average. If you can put aside 4 to 6 hours per week to work on your business, because it's more about consistency, then you're making a great start, right? That's a great start. So I think that is, Michael, that was an important question that you asked, because a lot of us can, we're all, I say we all, I tend to attract type A overachievers, right? And we think, oh my gosh, I got to spend all this time building the business. You do need to spend time building the business, but it's more about consistency. So 4 to 6 hours per week is a great place to start. And as Michael and I talked about, as long as you're spending that time working on the right stuff, the stuff that's going to get you the ROI. And that's kind of the difference between somebody that's working in a bubble without that guidance or mentorship. And it's like, I hope I'm spending my time wisely, versus somebody who's, working through this with a business mentor with a blueprint. And then the other thing that Michael and I talked about is, when it comes to building a business, right? I can hand you the best business blueprint in the world, right? And there's many options out there as far as like building your coaching business. But where I see failures happen is essentially when there's not that element of accountability. That's what Michael and I were talking about. So it's important. And I want you guys all to just plant this seed, whether you end up working with me, working with someone else, whatever. If there's not an element in that program you're working, that business coach, that program, if there's not an element of accountability where we are not only giving you information, but keeping you accountable, it's truly not enough, right? And I know I'm preaching to the choir as coaches here. So that's why in our academy, we actually assign you an accountability coach. It's really important. And y'all, same thing for me. After doing this 7 to 8 years, I too, I continue to learn every single week on how to improve material for my clients and for myself. I too have an accountability component to everything I'm a part of. That's just human nature. So I just want you to think about that when you're starting to look at, okay, what do I want as far as support for my business? If it doesn't have an accountability component, it's not enough. I'm telling you this from experience. So thank you for sharing, Michael. All right, let's jump right in and talk about market research mastery. Market research mastery. There are many different ways to conduct market research, online especially. And I do cover this in depth in module 1 of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy that I run. But today we are talking specifically about what I would consider the number one form of market research that will acquire clients while you're at it. So go ahead, pull out your workbook. If you've got it online, scroll. If you've got it printed, turn it to page 4. So I want you to pull it out to page 4. And here at the top, we're going to jump right into it. So get ready, y'all. Start taking notes. Okay. The number one way to use market research mastery to acquire clients is, drum roll, I'm going to tell you, it's ideal client avatar surveys. So go ahead and write that down. Ideal client avatar surveys. Write that down. Now, right underneath that on your workbook, okay, I put the definition of, and I want you to write ideal client avatar surveys. Let's talk about what the definition, or at least my definition of an ideal client avatar survey is. So go ahead and write that down here. The definition of an ideal client avatar survey, I'm going to break it down into 2 parts. Okay. And again, Tabitha will capture some of this and put it in the chat for those of you, for if I'm speaking, rapidly here, rapid fire. An ideal client avatar survey. So first, let's talk about what's an ideal client avatar. What's an ideal? And side note, I think some of you know what this is. What's an ideal client avatar? Drop into the chat. What do you think? What's your definition? Because there's many definitions. What's your definition of just an ideal client avatar? What's your definition of an ideal client avatar? Drop into the chat. What's the first thing that comes up for you? When you hear me say ideal client avatar, what's the first thing that comes up to you? What's the first thing that comes up? Meredith says, description of the kind of clients we want to work with and serve. Absolutely. Cindy says the blueprint for the profile of a person who will want my services. Yeah, actually, Cindy and Meredith, I love what both of you are saying, because it really is both, isn't it? It's the kind of human that we want to work with. It's like our unicorn client, but also to Cindy's point, that it's also the person that wants to work with you, right? It's a match, right? That's why we do discovery calls to find out, are we a match? I want to work with you. Do you want to work with me? And Coach JP, persona of your best client. Absolutely. And that's another great way to think of it too. If you're already coaching clients, take a look back at your clients and ask yourself, who is my favorite person to work with? And what is it about that person that I really love? Or what's the golden thread of the 5 people I'm working with that they have in common that I really love working with? Okay. So yeah, an ideal client avatar, first off, it is a representation of your ideal customer. Now, sometimes you'll also hear it referred to as a buyer persona, a marketing persona, a customer profile. You don't need to know all that, but just in case you hear some of those phrases, okay, it's the same thing. This is the type of person that will want to purchase your coaching service, right? You want to work with them and they want to work with you. Okay, that's number one. And again, I want you to be taking some of these notes here about just so you can remember, right? Now let's get to the survey piece of it. Now we talked about an ideal client avatar. Let's talk about the ideal client avatar survey piece of it. The survey piece of what I'm calling an ideal client avatar survey, you also might hear me refer to it as an ICA survey, okay? That's the market research component. The ideal client avatar survey means that you are asking your ideal client avatar questions to learn about who they are, what are their needs and wants, and what are their challenges. Okay? You are asking during a survey with an ideal client avatar, right? This is you conducting market research. You've got to find that ideal client avatar, and then you're going to be asking them questions about who they are, what are their needs and wants, and what are their challenges. And really, I want you to lean in here and hear me when I say you are trying to uncover their words that they use to describe their urgent problem. Okay? So really hear me when I say that. We don't take shorthanded notes when you're talking to an ideal client avatar and trying to conduct one of these surveys, because we want their exact words. That's how we're going to get our marketing, our messaging, our copy, because we don't want it to be in our language, our magical, special, coachy language. We want it to be in their language, so that when they come to your website, your profile, your social media content, whatever, they read that copy and they're like, oh my gosh, you're in my head. How did you know? You're describing the problems that only I would know I was dealing with. Okay. I get a lot of that sometimes. If any of you ever want to check out my website, bettykempa.com, BETTYKEMPA.com, just, go in there and read some of the copy, especially from the first page, and just, see, does any of that identify with you? And part of how I came up with that copy was doing these ideal client avatar surveys, conducting market research. Another thing about ideal client avatar surveys, do not send a survey via email or online. I know I'm calling it a survey. I think probably for the next, I'm probably going to have to come up with a different way of referring to it, because I think when people hear survey, of course, you're thinking, oh yeah, I'll flip them out an email or a survey. Do not conduct a survey via email or online. Okay. For this to work, especially if you want to get a client out of this, it needs to be either over the phone, over Zoom, or in person. Okay. It has to be a live conversation. Okay. It has to be, and it's not only, oh, if I'm going to get a client, if you're going to get really good market research data, because oftentimes when people fill out a survey, they're giving you high level answers. And what you need to do during an ideal client avatar survey is you hear their surface level answer. You say, oh, hey, when it comes to your career, I'm a career coach. What's your biggest challenge? I feel like I'm burning out, right? If you sent somebody a survey and that's all they told you, that's not enough, right? Oh, you feel like you're burning out. What's your definition of burning out? Right? And then they're going to tell you, okay, tell me more. You're going to dig. We're not, now to be clear, an ideal client avatar survey is not a coaching call. It is not a sales call. It is strictly research. Now, there is still a way, and I'm going to talk to you guys about this, on how you can transition from doing market research to down the line, this person becomes a client. But the ideal client avatar survey conversation itself is a research conversation, okay? If you have any questions so far, drop them into the chat. Drop them into the chat. That's why we're live. Okay, otherwise I'm going to keep going. Now, besides helping you validate the market, your ideal client avatar survey is going to help you. So I want you to write this in we're still on page 4. So write this in, your ideal client avatar survey. You can also say your ICA survey will help you. And then I list off 6 things. So get ready to write, ladies and gentlemen, get ready to write. If you're on the computer, Tabitha will be doing some typing as well. You can do a copy paste with her answers. Okay, so get ready. So what else is your ideal client avatar survey going to help you do besides validate the market? Because that's the main thing. We're trying to validate the market. We're trying to validate that your niche, that your specialty is indeed an urgent problem that people are willing to pay anything to have solved, that they're already looking for help, right? You're not inventing a problem. They're already looking for help. Okay, important. So number 1, what's an ideal client avatar survey going to help you do? It's going to help you update your I help who with what niche statement. Hooray, right? That's the big thing most people are originally kind of struggling with, that niche statement, darn it. So when you actually get out there and talk to people who you're like, yes, I am a health coach. I help, I'm making this up. I'm a health coach. I have a client like this. I'm a health coach. I help women in their 40s or 50s that are executives. I help them to regain their energy and reach their ideal weight. You're able to actually get from them in their words, right? What is the urgent problem they're facing? So when you look at your niche statement, your I help who with what statement, we're going to be able to cross-reference that with the words that your ideal client avatars use during your survey. They're going to be telling you, this is my problem. This is my goal, this, right? And we're going to do a cross-reference and be able to write your niche statement. So that's number 1. It's going to help you write when you're like, I don't know how to write this statement, right? We got to do some market research. We got to have some ideal client avatar surveys to get their words to come up with this statement. Number two, your ideal client avatar survey is going to help you understand your ideal client avatar's biggest, most urgent problem when it comes to your coaching umbrella topic, okay? As well as the pain that they feel as long as the problem isn't solved. Now, lean in here when I say this. Humans seek help with a problem when they are in pain, right? That's the truth. People seek help with a problem when they are in pain. So we need to understand this. Okay. Again, we're not inventing problems, right? Side note to that point, you don't want to be marketing to solve a problem that your ideal client is not worried about solving. So if your niche statement is, and I'm making this up, okay, is all about helping people find abundance, right? That's our word. We like that word. We're coaches. We love that word, right? And not one of your client avatars that you interview, not one of them mentions the word abundance. When you're doing this survey with them, you're going to need to remove that word from your niche statement, right? From your marketing, and focus on using words that reflect solving the problem that they tell you is keeping them up at night. Okay. Now, might you help people get abundance? Of course, but that's not going to be necessarily how we market and message. Questions, drop them in the chat. Questions, drop them in the chat. The third thing, write this down in your workbook, page 4. The third thing that your ideal client avatar survey is going to help you to do. So now we know, right, the problem, the pain. The flip side of that, we're going to ask questions about the dream and the goal. So it's going to help you uncover your ideal client avatar's dream, their goal. And again, going back to that niche statement, I help who with what, so that when you uncover your ideal client avatar's dream, their goal, you can plug that right into the so that statement. Okay. So when I say so that, you're going to be asking questions to your ideal client avatar like, why do you want to achieve this goal? Right? Let's say you're helping, I'm making this up, right? Executives get promoted, right? What's behind that? Why? Why do you want to achieve this goal? How will you feel once you achieve this goal? Who will you become once you achieve this goal? How will life be different once you achieve this goal? I'm just giving you examples. So when you think about your niche statement, I help who with what, so that, the so that is the big hardcore why that is underneath the goal. We say we want this, but there's something much deeper underneath, right? The so that statement, that might go in your niche headline. And that's also going to go into various parts of your content marketing, your website, your social media. All right. So far we talked about what's your ideal client avatar survey going to help you to do. 1, it's going to help you with your niche statement. 2, it's going to help you understand your client avatar's urgent problem and pain. 3, it's going to help you uncover the dream and the goal. The dream and the goal. Meredith says, what was the one question about who will you become as part of uncovering their dream and their goal? And here, I'll do a copy paste. Maybe this will help, Meredith. Let's see. See if that helps, Meredith. See if your answer's in there. I said, who will you become once you achieve this goal? How will life be different once you achieve this goal? See if that helps. Number four, write this down. Number 4, what else is your ideal client avatar survey going to help you do? It's going to help you decide what you need to focus on in your coaching package. Aren't these ideal client avatar surveys great? They're going to help us with our niche statement. Then they're going to help us build out our package. If you create a package that is marketed or messaged or the copy or whatever, your ideal client avatar reads it and it just goes right over their head. They're like, I don't see my goal in there. I don't see my problem reflected in there. So these conversations are going to help you decide, what do I need to focus on when it comes to building out this amazing coaching package for my clients? Number five, your ideal client avatar surveys, what will they help you do? They'll help provide you words and phrases to use in your copy. We want those key, you're going to say, 3 out of 5 people that I talked to told me that, whatever, fill in the blank. You're going to be looking for the golden thread, right? What are the majority of people saying? So that you're going to get those words, those juicy phrases. And then when we create copy for your website, your social media, your email marketing, we're not creating that from just the top of our head. Your people, they're actually creating it as they give us their answers. And number six, when you're talking to your ideal client avatars, you also want to pick their brain on where do they hang out online? So if you're running a virtual business and you're trying to figure out, where are my people? How do I find my people so I can market to them, so I can outreach to them, right? You can have that conversation. Hey, which social media platform do you use the most? Are you a part of any Facebook groups? Where do you go to solve this problem? Okay, even if you're not trying to solve this problem, which social media platform do you use the most? Right? You might even ask them, what conferences do you attend? Right? These are all good things. So if you're, you find a unicorn ideal client avatar, you better ask them where they hang out, online or offline, so we can find more people just like them. Okay. Now, these are the bonuses. These are the bonuses with an ideal client avatar survey on top of getting new clients. Those are bonuses. All successful businesses, corporations, y'all know this from being in the corporate world, right? And, some of the Fortune 500s, all successful businesses, all successful corporations are conducting this type of market research. All of them, right? I need all of you, and this is what I tell my clients, right? I need you to start treating your coaching business like it is already a 6 or 7 figure business, right? We're not going into this like, oh, I'm just creating this. We're already treating it like, no, this is the real deal. I'm conducting market research. I'm making sure everything makes sense, etc. Okay. Treat your business the way you want to, right? It's just like, who do I want to become? You have to show up like that. Same goes for your business. Okay. Same goes for your business. At the bottom of page 4, and if you have any questions, drop them into the chat. Bottom of page 4, ask questions during your ideal client avatar survey. Ask questions during your ideal client avatar survey. Well, I don't want to get to that part yet. Yeah. Ask questions during your ideal client avatar survey around, and then I give you 4 things. Let's talk about those 4. So these are, when you guys go into an ideal client avatar survey, there are 4 things you need to ask. And I'm going to simplify it for you. Okay. I'm making this very simple. Now for my clients, I have a full-on list of questions. Okay. But I'm simplifying this. There's 4 things you need to get out of an ideal client avatar survey. 1, write this down. The urgent problem that keeps them up at night that they would pay anything to solve. The urgent problem. So we don't want to know just like if you're a leadership coach and you find a leader and you're like, oh, this is an amazing leader. I'd love to work with this leader. And you're just like, yeah, what are some of the challenges of being a leader? And they throw out just challenges. Okay, let them brain dump, and then really hone in and say, okay, I acknowledge, validate. I heard you say this, this, and this. Out of everything you said, give to me, what is the urgent, out of all those things, what's the most urgent problem that keeps you up at night that you would pay anything to solve? That's the one we need. Those are the words we need. So that's number 1. Number 2, you're going to ask questions around the dream, the outcome, the goal. The dream, the outcome, and they may have many, right? Of course. And I'm just using the example again. Let's say you're a leadership coach. They're like, oh, I have all these aspirations for my career. I want this, I want that, right? And then, we need to kind of hone it all in with them. Hey, if I could sprinkle fairy dust on you and I work with you as your leadership coach for a year, what would be the ultimate dream, the ultimate outcome, the ultimate goal you would want to achieve as it pertains to fill in the blank, whatever your niche is? And side note, as you're asking questions during your ideal client avatar survey, be sure you're asking them as it pertains to your specific niche. We talked about the umbrella topics yesterday. And side note, if you didn't get that, go back and watch the replay, day 1 replay, or just put umbrella topics in the comments, and either Tabitha, actually in the answer key, maybe this would be helpful, Tabitha. Could you copy paste from the answer key from day 1, the umbrella topics? I think that was in the answer key. Here's my point. As you guys are doing this research, if I just pick one of you guys that's here, and if I'm just like, Cindy, Tell me all of your dreams. Tell me all, right? You could go any direction, right? It could be health. It could be business. It could be family. It could be a billion, right? That's wild. That's going to not help us. So we do need to there, Tabitha listed the umbrella topics. You do really want to hone in on the umbrella topic that you're planning on focusing in. Hey, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your career, right? So we don't want them telling us goals about, my relationship, my health, my this, my that, like pick a lane. So number 2, dream outcome goal. What other questions do we want to ask during the ideal client avatar survey? There's 4. We talked about urgent problem, dream, outcome, goal. Number 3, ask them where they hang out. And again, I'm just reiterating this. Where do you hang out, online and in person, especially as it pertains to your niche, right? So if I'm a health coach, what are you do? Where do you go online for support with your health or with your health? Right? Where are you going online? What online virtual events do you attend? What in-person conferences do you attend? Right? Get that out of them. Where are you hanging out? We need that so we can go find more people like them. And number 4, this is a good one. Write this down, lean in. At the end of your ideal client avatar survey, hey, do you know anyone else just like you that you could introduce me to so I could conduct more market research? That's the snowball effect. And I think that's like, it sounds obvious when I say it, but it can be easy to forget. So don't just end the call like, oh, okay, I ended. Like, right, I often say this to my clients, right? Oh, I love working with you. I need 100 more people like you, right? Do you know anybody that's dealing with something that you're dealing with that you can introduce me to? Okay. All right. Questions, drop them into the chat. Otherwise, we are turning to page 5. So write this into the top. Page 5, top of page 5. And let me see here, Rocco. Do you offer anything to people for doing this with you? Great question, Rocco. Great question. Yes, you can. And what we're going to get into, so Rocco, you read my mind. Give you a little, let's see, little look at this here. So we're doing our market research. We're conducting ideal client avatar surveys. At the end of the ideal client avatar survey, as a thank you, you can offer, hey, as a thank you for doing this with me, I'd love to offer you a complimentary coaching call on said topic, right? They just told you all their problems. They just told you all their issues. I would reiterate at the end of my ICA survey with them, hey, I'd love to help you with that as a thank you for doing this with, and you can even tell them ahead of time, if you can, hey, if you're willing to give me 20 minutes of your time to conduct some market research, I'll schedule a complimentary coaching call with you on another date. Do not smush these together. That's too much. So, 20 or so minutes to do this. And then as a thank you, schedule the complimentary coaching call on another date. So great question. And whatever, you can get creative. You can, give them a Starbucks gift card or whatever, but they just finished pouring their heart out to you with what they're struggling with. So I would offer a complimentary coaching call, and we'll talk about that more. All right. So top of page 5, good question, Rocco. Top of page 5, only run ideal client avatar surveys. Write that down, with actual ideal client avatars who you want to work with. Okay. Now, I know we can't jump into somebody's wallet, but from a positioning standpoint, right, you want to think about when you look at all the different people in your umbrella bucket, right? Like, let's say I'm a career coach. You're looking for people you want to work with who can afford your package. And I know some of you are like, well, girl, I don't even know how much my package is. So we'll get to that. But you do want to be interviewing people that, if they were to decide, oh my gosh, this coach is amazing, right? They would be able to, or willing to, raise their hand and jump right in and say, Yes, please take my money, take my credit card. I want to work with you. So we're only interviewing, when I say ideal client avatar, right? You want to work with them. They virtually, for as much as you know, it appears that they'd be able to afford your package, and they fall into your niche bucket, right? So if I'm a business coach, I'm not going to be interviewing somebody that their main urgent problem is their relationship, right? I'm interviewing people who fall into my niche bucket. Their urgent problem, they're focused on like, hey, help me with my business, right? So write that down. 3 things. People you want to work with. For as much as you know, it appears that, if they believed you could help them, they'd be ready and willing to pay for your package, and they fall into your niche bucket. They fall into your niche bucket. Meredith says, if they are not in our inner circle, how do we find them to invite them to the ICA? So good. So Meredith, we're going to cover that tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big day. Yes, girl. Tomorrow is going to be all about how to find, let me look at the workbook here. Yeah, literally look at page 6, Meredith. Topic tomorrow, where to find your perfect prospects. So that'll be all day tomorrow. So make sure y'all tune in. Tomorrow's a big one. Good question. Y'all are with me because I know you're already asking the right questions. All right. Now, here's what I want to say, though, about that question, though, as far as, where to find people to run ideal client avatar surveys with. We'll cover that tomorrow, but let's talk about where can you start? Where can I start? Start with what we talked about yesterday. Start with your network. Start with your inner circle. See if people from your inner circle, so yesterday we listed 5 people from your inner circle, see if they can refer you to someone who is your ideal client avatar, who would be willing to give you 15 to 20 minutes to run an ideal client avatar survey. I wouldn't use that wording because they're going to be like, girl, what are you talking about? Just tell them you're conducting market research, right? So I would kick it off with, that's the whole inner circle thing, is you're going to describe to them, hey, right? That's where we ask them, what's new in your world? They tell you, then they say, what's new in your world? And then you say, actually, I am building, this is my lifelong dream. This is my calling. I work with this type of people on these types of problems. Do you know anyone like that? And they'll either say me, or they'll say, you know what? I do. My colleague is like that. My neighbor is like that, right? So that's where I would start. That's where I would start, right? And you're basically saying, right, we're looking for people to do market research with. The key to this working will be describing your specific niche, or at minimum your umbrella topic, right? So that your inner circle knows who to refer you to. Okay. Or like I said yesterday, they may indeed be your ideal client avatar. So that I have scripts that you can use to ask your network to get ideal client avatar surveys. I have a lot of scripts. I provide those to my clients. But again, on top of yesterday's inner circle script, I will actually, I told you guys, if you booked a discovery call, I will give you the inner circle tracker. I will throw in all the scripts with that tracker as well. So if you book a discovery call, and again, I'll drop that into the chat. I'll drop it in. If you book a discovery call, and again, I hope you guys realize about me so far, the point of a discovery call is you're doing your research with me, right? You're trying to find out, what are the different business support options out there, right? Is there a business support option that works for me? What are the pricing options out there, right? Would Betty and I connect, right? You're doing your research with me. I'm also doing my research with you, right? Sometimes I get people that want to join, but I'm not going to do that from an ethical standpoint if I feel like there's not a fit. But anyways, if you fill out the form and you book a call, I'll throw in all the scripts as well as the tracker for you to use with your inner circle. Now, I'll rattle those off for you guys now. Okay, I'm going to rattle off a ton of, I know I'm a fast talker. I'm about to rattle. Yeah, you're welcome, Saliana. So Saliana, you'll get those too for booking a call. I'm about to rattle off a ton of scripts. Don't kill yourself trying to write down every word. Okay, we'll send them to you once you apply for the discovery call. But Tabitha also will be helping by putting some in the chat. So one way or another, you're going to hear them, right? But if you want them all compiled nicely together, we'll package that up for you after you book your discovery call. So here's the first thing. I'm just giving you examples. You don't have to use this exact wording, but here's a way that you can ask your network to get ideal client avatar surveys. Okay. Here's an example. So if I'm talking to my inner circle, right, I might say, hey, I am ramping up my coaching business, helping fill in the blank, your target market, tell them your who, right? You don't want to just say helping people because then they're like, I don't know who to refer you to. So you're going to say, I'm ramping up my coaching business, helping target market people, whoever your who is, to do, and then tell them what you're going to help them do. What's the urgent problem you're going to help them solve? What's the outcome you're going to help them achieve? And I know a lot of you are like, Betty, I don't know that yet. I'm not that far along with my niche. That's okay, right? You can still give them kind of a general idea, right? If you're in, what space are you in? Leadership, health, relationship, business. And then just describe the who. Who are you looking to help? Who's that ideal client avatar? And what are you looking to help them achieve? So you're going to say, hey, I'm ramping up my coaching business, helping XYZ people achieve ABC. In researching the type of coaching package that I'm building, I got to do some market research with people who fall into this category. I need to learn what their challenges and their goals are. Would you happen to know anyone like this who you could connect me to via a 3-way email or DM, direct message? It would be a 20-minute phone call, no pitch, just an informational interview. Okay, so that's just an example. If I was to go to my inner circle on how I would approach them to say, hey, right, do you know anybody you could hook me up with for some market research? I'm going to say it again. I'm ramping up my coaching business, helping XYZ people do ABC. In researching the type of coaching package I'm building, I need to do some market research with people who fall into this category to learn what their challenges and goals are. Would you happen to know anyone like this who you could connect me to via 3-way email or DM, Facebook DM, LinkedIn DM, whatever, right? And then you could just basically say it would be a 20-minute phone call, no pitch, just an informational interview. Again, we'll talk about more places to find ICAs tomorrow. And tomorrow will be probably one of the most important sessions of the entire week. All right, so moving on. One thing I want to say and fill this out on page 5. Do not run ideal client avatar surveys over email. I'm telling you again, right? Only run it over phone, Zoom, or in person. Okay, really important. Now, again, like I said, this is another script you could potentially use. So let's say you get connected. Let's say someone from your inner circle is like, my brother is that. I'm going to connect you to my brother. So here's what you would say once you get connected to the brother, right? And I'm just giving you examples, right? Hey, George, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me so I can conduct some market research for my coaching program. I am a coach specializing in, and then you can tell them a version of your niche statement. Give them an idea. What kind of a coach are you? Hey, our friend Mary mentioned you're considering this. I'd love to dig into your challenges and goals with fill in the blank, whatever the topic is. This will help inform how I'm building out my coaching program. Would you mind chatting for 20 minutes for a short informational interview? Okay, so that's just an example. Again, we'll give you that script if you book a discovery call, but that's just an example. I just want you guys to hear what that sounds like. Now, Here is the key to getting clients from ideal client avatar surveys. Here's the key. At the end of the ideal client avatar survey, so you get on the call with George, you have a 20-minute conversation. I already told you on page 4, the 4 questions you're going to ask George. The 4 questions you're going to ask George, okay? Here's the key to turning that potentially into a client. At the end of the ideal client avatar survey, and Rocco already is thinking about this, right? At the end of the ideal client avatar survey, write this down. You're going to offer a complimentary coaching call. Okay. At the end of the ideal client avatar survey, you're going to offer a complimentary coaching call. Okay. And again, I'm giving you guys a million scripts here, but I just want you to hear what this sounds like. Okay. Script for the end of the call. Hey, George, thank you so much for your time today. This was incredibly helpful. As a thank you, I'd love to extend a complimentary 60-minute coaching session to you on the topic of your choice. Now, you guys lean in for this part, okay? You're going to say, we could cover topics such as, and here's where you're going to mention specific and customized pain points or goals that George just shared with you so he can immediately see the value. You understand? So he just poured his heart out to you, telling, I'm urgent problem, goal, dream, outcome. So you're saying, as a thank you, I want to offer you to schedule a 60-minute complimentary coaching call. You know, we could cover pick a topic you mentioned, pick a topic. We could talk about this. So he's connecting the dots. When you just tell a civilian, hey, I'm going to do a complimentary coaching call, if they've never worked with a coach, they're like, huh? Like, I don't know what do I do with that? But when you connect the dots and say, oh, this is your urgent problem, as a thank you, I want to coach you on that topic. We'll do a 60-minute complimentary session. Okay. All right. Salian is with us. Okay, good. What else? Okay, so then you're going to say that, and then you're going to say, how does that sound? So you're getting their buy-in. You're not shoving it at them. How does that sound? And again, right, if it sounds good, I would just go right into, hey, I've got this day and time, or give them a couple options, right? I've got this, or this available. Which of these work for you? And then immediately lean in here and write it down. Immediately schedule the complimentary coaching call before you get off the phone. I'm telling you right now, this is where the ball gets dropped. Somebody will say, oh yeah, complimentary coaching call. Sounds good. And then, oh yeah, we'll follow up. Nobody will follow up. Schedule the complimentary coaching call before you get off the phone from that ICA survey. Okay. Really, really important. Really important. So again, here's the funnel. We're conducting market research, in this case with ICA surveys, 4 questions. At the end of the ICA survey, we're offering to schedule a complimentary coaching call. I'm going to talk about this later in the workshop, later in the week. I'm going to teach you guys how to take that complimentary coaching call and turn that into, at the end of the call, we'll pitch, hey, if this was helpful, you can work with me, and they become a client. So this part here, let me get so we covered this tonight, how to get from here to here. Later in the workshop, later in the week, we're going to cover how to take a complimentary coaching call and turn it into a client. That's a separate step in the process. I believe I have that scheduled to talk about Friday. Okay. All right. Questions, drop it into the chat. All right. So let's look at our action items. Again, here's the link to book the discovery call, to receive all the scripts, and then our circle tracker. Here's the first item on your worksheet, on your page 5 of your workbook. First action item, you guys, reach out to 3 to 5 ideal client avatars. Reach out to 3 to 5 ideal client avatars. Okay, that's your first action item. Now, hopefully, the inner circle tracker, what you did yesterday, right? We can start to see if those guys can make an introduction for you. Okay. We can start to see if those guys can make an introduction for you. But I want you to start thinking about who can I reach out to? So your first action item within the next 24 hours, I just want you to dip your little toe in the water, and I want you to reach out to at least 3 ideal client avatars and just say, hey, you can blame me. My business coach, Betty, is telling me I got to conduct some market research, and I thought you could be perfect. Or so-and-so, from your inner circle said, you might be a great person for me to interview, right? So I want you to reach out to your first 3 people, okay? Again, I gave you some future action items. These are for the future. If your people don't respond, you reach out to 3 to 5 people, and they don't respond within the week, you're going to follow up with them and then reach out to 3 to 5 more people, right? So, of course, we're not going to expect every person we reach out to is going to respond. Some won't. But if they don't respond within the first week, the next week, follow up with them and then reach out to 3 more people, okay? Number 2, you're going to run the surveys with them. You're going to ask those 4 questions. And at the end of the 4 questions, you're going to offer a complimentary coaching call. Okay. And then the last action item, you're going to attend tomorrow's workshop day to learn where to find your perfect ideal client avatars. That's tomorrow. Okay. But the first thing I want you guys to do, I want you to dip your toe in the water, reach out to 3 ideal client avatars and say, hey, I'm this type of coach. I'm conducting this type of research and trying to build my package. Again, if you want that script, go back and watch the replay or book a call and we'll send you the package of scripts. All right. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. If you have questions, send Tabitha a direct message on Facebook. If you have questions, send me a direct message on Facebook. If you have questions, you can post them in the Facebook group. All right. If you have questions, you can book a call and we can talk live one-on-one. Before we hop off tonight and y'all go and have some dinner, I want to announce the winner of our first drawing for our first giveaway. I hope you like coffee. This one's going to be a $25 Starbucks gift card. Again, to be eligible, you have to show up live. You have to participate in the live stream so we know you're here. And then you have to go to the Facebook group. You have 24 hours to go to the Facebook group. Tabitha is going to post 1 homework question, and you just need to answer that question. So for tonight, congratulations to Meredith. Meredith, there she is. Now, Meredith, I just have a feeling I'm going to get your last name wrong. Is Massey? Massey. Okay. Meredith Massey. So Meredith, girl, I hope you like coffee. Give me a thumbs up if you do. If you don't, I'll send you something else. Okay. She likes coffee. All right. We're going to send you a digital Starbucks gift card. Enjoy a couple cups of coffee on us. I'm just going to jump into the chat quick. You like tea? Okay. Well, Starbucks has tea. Do you like Starbucks tea? Okay, good. Congratulations, Meredith. All right. Good stuff. Let's see. I'm just scrolling here, making sure. Christina, you are so welcome. And Michael, you'll be getting the script temp. Yep. Anybody who's booked a call, you'll be getting that package. So I'll be sending that over to you, Michael, by tomorrow. So anyone, and it's once we have our call. So yeah, Michael, yours is coming for sure. Okay. Next, tomorrow. So spend the next day working on this till we come back together tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's a really important night. We're going to talk about where do we find these people? Where do we find them? Yes, we've got our inner circle. Great. But where else do we find our perfect prospects? So tomorrow I'm going to talk about the 5 key places to find your perfect prospects. I'm going to talk about 4 different ways that warm leads are going to help you find clients. I'm going to talk about what the ideal organic sales funnel looks like. What the ideal organic sales funnel looks like from warm lead to paying client. And then lastly, I'm going to be verbalizing, giving you more scripts to make the conversations flow authentically. Okay. All right. Just jumping again into the chat here. Yep. Just learned how to chat. Love it, Wayne. You're welcome, Allie. Did complete the application. Okay, good. No, Meredith, you're good to go. Once you complete the application, you are then going to get an email from me. So that's going to come. Anybody that's completed the application within 24 to 48 hours. I know a couple of people have like, I still owe you emails. You're going to get an email from me with a link to schedule. So you're on the right path. All you got to do is fill out the form and then look for that email coming from me with a link to schedule. All right, y'all. Thanks for committing to this process. We'll see you back here tomorrow night, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Do not forget 24 hours to post your answer to the homework question in a separate homework thread. It's up in the Facebook group, and you will then be in the running for tomorrow's giveaway. We'll be doing a different gift card to a different place. Reach out to Tabitha or me if you need any help. We are literally on standby this week to work through all of this goodness with you. All right, y'all, have a wonderful night. Enjoy your dinner, and I'll see you tomorrow.